my colleagues are saying that the county facilities, level 4 and so on, are asking for them because they are the staff. So we should have then realized that these are staff and dealt with it. But now we come to what we have now with interns outside the ministry.
Day 2, I believe this should be day 3 now.
Yeah.
Of part 2 of, yeah.
But remember, there was a strike of over 50 days.
Yes, so it's part 2.
And that strike was called off on the basis of a return to work formula.
Yeah.
Now, this return to work formula was based on a collective bargaining agreement of 2017. So you see how things, you have waited for things. If you agreed with somebody in 2017, now they go on strike now, and then now you say, okay, within 60 days, we are going to sort this issue. Now, 60 days have gone. Now, from what I get, they're saying, now we agree to employ them, but we're going to employ them in batches because we don't have the money. Realistically, in life, that may be so. But then it also calls on how have you handled the 60 days from the time you said you are going to have a return to work formula. Within 60 days, we shall employ the interns and I think pay the registrars. Now, you can't, that issue shouldn't then become a public issue on the 60th day.
But, okay.
So what should have done, even if they wanted to do it in batches, I would have thought that by, say, 30th day or 25th day, okay, we are doing this process, we cannot do it all at once, but on day 20, we are taking so much. On day 40, we are taking so much. People can understand that. But even if you have been discussing for 60 days, and then it is the last day that we hear it, it makes people think, and it's coming also that now there's one of the return to work formula was a task force, which was to look at the bigger picture. Now you announce the task force, now the basics that are agreed on had not been done. You're just having a bigger crisis. Yeah. There's a management issue there.
I hear you, saying that it can't be that after 60 days, which was the period within which this was supposed to be resolved, all the 1,200 medical interns have not been posted. So the question is, what has the ministry been doing with the 60 days? What is it that, what meetings, what efforts have been going into place with regards to resolving this? I just want to highlight a quick, I would call it justification from the CS, courtesy of a statement that she shared regarding the current crisis we are facing. And this is what she says, that over the years, the government has consistently allocated funds towards the internship program. And this, due to the exponential increase in the number of public and private training institutions, more than sixfold in 20 years churning graduates, and the foreign-trained graduates, the cost of the program has progressively outstripped their available resources. Consequently, a growing backlog of graduates awaiting posting to the internship centers has been the subject of recurrent industrial action within the health sector over the last 10 years. Does she make sense to you, Daktari? That the numbers have been going up. Okay, fine, we mean well, but the numbers have been going up. So the funds we had as a government, we actually cannot be able to sustain it.
So before you go to our sustenance issue, the CS of Health needs to tell us where they took the internship money that had been budgeted for 2 years ago, 1 year ago. You can't cause a problem. You take our money, reallocate it to other things which are considered more priority, and then you come tell us that our budgets have gone down. We need accountability, and it's coming. This Gen Z sweep, which has for us been a fantastic thing, is calling for accountability. So before you start saying that you do not have money, tell us where you took the money for internship. And let me say this. When first-year medical students enter, they are registered by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council. For clinical officers, they are registered by KUKO. They have an index. We know, and we've been developing. In fact, I was a medical superintendent when Dr. Nyikal was the CS and PS of Health, Director of Medical Services. And in the performance contracting, one of the things that we did was to actually increase the number, or intentionally increase the number of internship centers we had, because one, there is a need to train more. By the way, we do not have enough medical personnel to work. So you can't even use the argument that there are enough people exponential. It's not exponential.
We are churning more.
We are supposed to churn more for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
In fact, the number of doctors we are churning now and clinical officers and nurses will still not be enough to meet the needs of this country now. So you can't give us that excuse. You have to budget for them. When they enter, all these bodies have their enough. They know. When they finish, they know how many have finished. There is nothing like. So when you fail to budget, it's your problem. It's your failure. You cannot now come and have an excuse. And then after you have failed to budget or reallocated the money for internship, you now decide one day to sneak in a suggestion to SRC that you now want to pay a stipend. The people in health workers, they are workers. They not only, by the way, they are not only learning, but they are workers. One intern, a team of interns, you have a clinical officer, a medical officer, a nursing officer, because in health you work as a team. One intern in a county hospital in a day generates millions of shillings. So you can't be analyzing the input aspect of it and not analyzing the output aspect. And the output aspect is measured not only in the amount of money generated by the work that team is doing, but the output of health. When someone comes to a hospital, they have a fracture, for instance. They are clerked, they are treated, they are nursed, they get home better. When they go home, they come back, start paying taxes because they have healed. If that team is not there to do, they become paralyzed, they become a liability. So you can't come and tell us you don't have money. What is the measure? The measure is that this team of people who are highly qualified people who are providing services at the grassroots have made sure that the taxpayers are healthy to continue paying tax. And they have also generated the same income that will pay them. One intern in one day, that team generates income to pay themselves the whole month. You can't give us. Let me tell you, the governance at Ministry of Health needs to go. You can't have caused this problem. They need to go. And if they can't do their work, there are people who can do their work. What work huko? Or I mean, you can't. By the way, we do not accept. And secondly, the work done, the value. I was in the CBN negotiating group 2017. You can't come now all of a sudden one day you are the one to undo all the work that has been done from 2013. It was actually 2013 that we started these CBA things. You can't. And finally, if the Ministry of Health cannot handle this, let's have a health service commission. A health service commission will not forget to budget for interns, will not forget to budget for training of all medical workers, will not forget to manage all these people. We can't have clinical officers at national level still on strike. We are suffering. We can't. Right. And the problem is the Ministry of Health. They have finished with the counties. And no, let me tell you, the Ministry of Health, I think, needs to go. We are now not busy. The Ministry of Health needs to go.
In the grievances is quite...
If you allow me on the same, you know, that is concession of failure. Why am I saying this? When we are saying over 20 years, they have probably doubled, tripled, or whatever, has the population also increased? Has the budget remained the same for 20 years?
And they have spent on one side, 4.2 billion.
We are saying
January.
We need to train more because we have a shortage and we need to meet ratios so that we can have a healthy society. On the other side, we are complaining that now we are training more, we are unable to take them for internship. It is failure of planning. And then every council, every board indexes students. So at least 3-4 years before they come out, we actually know in 2028, we are going to have this number of doctors, this number of clinical officers, this number of nurses. We can actually be able to forecast and plan for even 5-6 years because we have the figures. So where did we fail? We failed to plan a long time ago. And that is what is coming out now. But then, let me ask you something. I saw the president come out the other day, and we said some of the budget for innovations, for the first lady and the wife of the deputy president and the prime minister, we are no longer budgeting for them. The confidential budget, we are no longer budgeting for that. That is enough money to add and be able to post interns. So I think what is happening is that we are not being sincere.
The issue is not money, that's what you're saying.
The issue is not money.
Governance.
I want us to take a very short break, and then we'll come back and pick up this conversation on part 2. I'm hosting 3 gentlemen in studio this morning as we talk about the state of healthcare in our country. Do stay for that and much more. And of course, share with us your thoughts with regards to the crisis in the health sector right now when it comes to medical interns, the shift to the social health insurance fund, and what you're concerned about as a Kenyan with regards to what is happening in our country. For now, we take a break. We will be right back.